Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to show you guys another possible sheet metal version of a velocity stack. So like so. We'll be working with a 9-inch OD or outside diameter, transitioning into a 4-inch ID or inside diameter, and then that'll give us a 2.5-inch radius, like so. And by the time we get done, we'll be producing this pattern to make this. Now if you looked at two videos back, I went over a radius bell mouth like so. So all I did was made this and then combined it with the video that we're doing now, which I'm going to show you guys how to do this, and then combine it and put it on top, and that'll be your version of a velocity stack. Alright, let's get to it. Alright, let's go ahead and start off with the biggest number first, which is 9 inches. So if you looked at the video of the radius bell mouth, we did a half circle. This time I'm just going to go ahead and do a quarter of a circle instead. So 9 inches divided by 2 is 4.5. So I'm just going to go ahead and make a 90 degree at 4.5 by 4.5. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and mark it at 4.5 inches. So 1, 2, 3, 4.5. Alright, now let's go ahead and get our compass. I'm going to put our sharp point right here where the vertical and horizontal lines meet of our 90 degree. And open up our compass to the 4.5 mark. I'm going to lock it in place. And hopefully you guys can see that. Let's go ahead and use a pen instead. It's more like it. Alright, perfect. Now in the same position, go ahead and put your sharp point here. Strike an arc there. Put your sharp point here now. Strike an arc there. Okay, and let's go ahead and get some pies exposed. So that should be 3 pies. Alright, perfect. Alright, so I just want to quickly go over something really quick. So what we got here is a quarter of a pie of the 9-inch. And what we have is 3 pies, so that'll be 1, 2, 3. And if you can imagine the other portion on top, it'll be another 3, so 4, 5, and 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then another 6 would be 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So this is basically saying that a full circle of 3 times 4, it will be a total of 12 pies to make this velocity stack. Now if you want to refine this a little bit more, not make it as blocky like what you see here, you can go ahead and divide these pies one more time, but you're going to find that it's going to be a little bit more tedious and just a lot more pieces to put together to try to make that smoother velocity stack. Alright, let's keep going. Alright, so now what we're going to do is let's go ahead and put a split right down the middle of this pie right here. So let's go ahead and first find our center of that pie. So we're going to do some crisscross arcs. I'm going to line it up to the crisscross arc here, to the center of the end of the pie, and then do along like so. Alright, okay, let me darken this up a little bit more. Okay, next step. Now let's go ahead and start with the 4-inch ID or inside diameter. So we're going to go and set our compass at 2 inches. 4 inches divided by 2 is 2. So 1, 2. Okay, we're going to put our sharp point right here. And go ahead and make our radius, our 4-inch radius. Alright, perfect. Now what we're going to do is cut this in half. So as you can see, we have a 2.5 inch. So what we're going to do is cut this in half. So 2 inches divided by 2 is 1.25. So there's our center. Now we're going to go ahead and take our compass, put our sharp point here, then open it up to the other end of our radius. We're going to swing it over to see if it matches, which it does, and make your half circle. Alright, perfect. Now in the same position, go ahead and put your sharp point here. We're going to go and strike some arcs so we can make some pies off of that half circle. Put your sharp point there. Alright, perfect. Now put your sharp point here again on that previous arc. Strike an arc on top. Same thing here. And crisscross the previous arc. Perfect. Alright, now go ahead and line up a ruler from this crisscross arc to the center of our half circle. And do a mark right there. Okay, now in the same position that you had this to make your radius, okay, put your sharp point now here and strike an arc on the bottom on the other end of the half circle. There you go, perfect. Alright, next step. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take these arcs and bring some vertical lines down onto this horizontal line that you see here. So one of the ways that you can do that is you can just eyeball it and take a ruler and bring some lines down like so. That one's already done. But if you have time, you want to do it a little bit more precise, you can just take a ruler and then get your square, and now you have a nice 90-degree, and just get some lines down. Do the next one. And that one's done, so that one's good. We'll move on over to the next. And then the last one. Perfect. Alright, there you go. Okay, next step. So now what you can do is, you see these lines that we have here on this horizontal line. What you're going to do is you're going to take these lines and make some curves to match this curve right here, this radius, like so. So just follow along. So what you're going to do is take your compass, put your sharp point right here where the vertical and horizontal lines meet on your 90-degree. You're going to take your pencil point and put it on the line right here. And then what you're going to do is do this, like so. Keep it in the same position, open it up to your next line, and do an arc. Next one, go to the center of our half circle, lock it in place, do an arc. Next one, keep it in the same spot, open it up, lock it in place, do an arc. And then the last one, open it up, lock it in place, and do an arc. Perfect. Alright, next, let's go ahead and number these. So there's going to be a total of 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you can mark it as 1. This will be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7. Okay, next step. Now what we're going to do is we're going to bring some lines from one end of the pie to the opposite side of the pie. So just follow along. You're going to put your sharp point right there on your pencil, line up your ruler to the opposite end of the pie, and then bring a line down like so. Okay, do the same thing to this one. line it up, and bring a line down. Do the same thing from here to here on 5. Bring it down. Same thing from here to here on 4. Bring it down. Next one, 3, 2, 1. Alright, perfect. So now we got this layout done. Now we're going to go ahead and take this information and bring it over to our grid so we can get the pattern going. So one of the first things that you got to do is figure out what your grid length is going to be based off of this layout. So what we're going to be doing is the pi formula. So we know that this is 2.5 inch round circle, so you can go 2.5 inches and the pi formula, so times 3.1416 equals 7 7/8. So that what that's saying is that from this point all the way around closed loop, it has a stretch length of 7 7/8. But since we're only going to want half of that, because we're only going to do a 2.5 inch radius, we're going to divide this by 2 equals 3 15/16. So what that's saying, that is from this point all the way around to the other end of the half circle has a stretch length of 3 15/16. So that's what you're going to do right here, 3 15/16. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, now as far as our height goes for this, for our grid, what you're going to do is you're going to take the longest line of the numbers 1 through 7. So as you can see, 7 is the longest line. So 7 has a length of, looks like 2 1/4. So I'm just going to go ahead and give it about 1/4 more, just to make sure that the template will fit in the grid. So I'll give it 2.5 inches. Alright, so we said it's going to be 3 15/16. 1, 2, 3 15/16 for our length, and 2.5 inches for our height. Okay, let's go ahead and transfer that information to the opposite end of our grid so we can complete it. All right. Okay, so now we have a box. Now what we're going to do is make a representation of this dividing line on the pi right here in the middle of our grid. So we're going to go ahead and find the center. So we know 2.5 inches divided by 2 is 1 1/4. Alright, perfect. So that's our half. Now what we're going to do is go ahead and make seven vertical lines that represents these lines right here, a total of 7, and that's including the outer lines of our grid. So as you can see, we already have 1 here. This will probably be 7. We'll want to do and find 4, and then add 2, 3, and then 5 and 6. So let's go ahead and split this down the middle first. So we're going to do some crisscross arcs to find the center of our grid. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, go ahead and line up your ruler with the crisscross arcs and make your vertical line like so. Alright, perfect. So now that we have this center, now let's go ahead and find 2, 3, and then 5 and 6. So what you can do is take your compass, put your sharp point, and use the distance of these pies. You can pick either or. And I'll lock it in place, and these should match pretty close. Okay, now what you're going to do is transfer that information onto your grid, like so. Alright, now let's go ahead and get some lines. Alright, good. Now let's go ahead and number these. So this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Alright, let's go ahead and start off with, let's do 7. So now what you're going to do is you're going to put your sharp point along this dividing line right here that crisscrosses every single number of the line. So just follow along. So just put your sharp point right here. And then you're going to open up your pen point or pencil point to the other half of the pie, and you're going to swing it over just to make sure that it does match. And once you're comfortable with that, now what you're going to do is put your sharp point on the middle right here on this horizontal line and strike an arc on the top and the bottom. Okay, let's go ahead and do 6. Okay, good. Top and bottom. 5. Top and bottom. Let's do 4. 3. Oops, overdid it there. Okay, 2. Hopefully you guys can see that. And then 1. Close it up a little bit more. Swing it over to match. And there it is. So if everything matches and everything was done correctly, this should match this. And there it is. Pretty close, right? Easy. Alright, so let me just demonstrate. So this goes right here and wraps around like so, as you can see. Pretty cool. So, like I said, this is just a fun way to make a possible sheet metal version of a velocity stack. Now, this is just to kind of give you an idea of what this will look like on a turbo. So this is an old turbo I have. And this is a miniature version of a velocity stack. Let's just put it right here so you guys can see. And obviously this would need a flange. You would just make a flange out of that. I would probably make it out of 1/8 inch steel or aluminum depending, and then weld it onto here. And then this, you can put it on like so, and obviously use these bolts. And that's what a velocity stack would look like on a turbo. So again, I mean, it's not really meant for it. It would obviously be better to have it a one solid piece, although it'd be interesting to see one made out of aluminum, probably either something bigger than 063, maybe 080 aluminum, but I don't know. I'm not an expert on that stuff, but yeah, so that's what this would look like. So that's pretty much it. If you guys find value in it, yeah, let me know if you guys liked it in the comments. If you guys are for some reason interested in knowing how to make this all in one video, if you guys were curious, go ahead and let me know in the comments. Otherwise, I think this video and the previous video to make this is sufficient enough to get you guys going. Other than that, that'll be it. So if you found value, let me know. And you think of a coworker or a friend that can you know, make use of this video, go ahead and share with them, and let's get more people start learning how to do these. Other than that, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.